KMC guy here again from Automated System Solutions, ASS. Let's continue. The first macro block we're going to produce is a motor status alarm. It can be used for pumps and fans to alarm if the motor doesn't come on, or alarm if somebody turns it on and it's not meant to be on. So the first thing we want to do to produce a block is we hit this M plus up here to add a new block. And it comes up here, and I'm going to hit this pencil to put a name in here. Now, if you notice down here, I've already got a status alarm block. So I'm going to name this something different for demonstration purposes. I'm going to call it motor status alarm. You're going to want to make these as descriptive as possible and as short as possible, because it's going to show up down here, and then when you're doing the little quick search for a logic block, you want it to be able to easily pop up and easily find it. So we're going to take this block and we're going to drag it over here. Now, there's nothing really in this. It defaults to adding a couple inputs and an output. We're going to go into the editor of this thing. So I'm going to click this M. And now we're in the macro block editor. Here's where you would write the code down through here. Okay, so lines of code. And here's your inputs and outputs, and you can add more inputs and outputs as necessary. One of the little main things I really don't like about this block editor is that you cannot copy and paste within this. So I've selected that and hit Control C. There's also cut and paste up there, which doesn't work. And see, I'm hitting Control V, nothing. I'm hitting Control V over here, nothing. Very annoying, and because you're going to be writing code with names that are going to be replaced inputs that are quite descriptive, which could have lots of letters in it, and uppercase and lowercase, and it's kind of hard to type it in and not fat finger something. So how do I deal with that? I'm going to go to back to the controller, and I open up two programs. One program where I'm making the macro block, and the other program where I'm just using it as a scratch pad. Now you could do this in Notepad, but I'm going to do this in Control Basic Editor. That way it makes it show up like a real program. Okay, the first thing I do is I make a local variable, because this is going to hold the alarm for a certain long length of time until we actually proven that it's not running. And we got the status input, so that'd be the motor status, like fan status, pump status. We got the command input. These are just things I just threw in there, names I put in there, because they're going to show up on the block as inputs. Then we've got status alarm hold. That's a local variable there. And so if these don't equal each other, then it's going to start that alarm hold, a local variable. And then here's where we're going to do the timing. If that status hold is on for greater than this status delay. Now I don't put a fixed value in here. I'm going to allow the people, when they're using this block, to decide how long it takes to prove that this fan or pump is running. So I have an object for that. And then you got, of course, the alarm output here. So let's copy this code. This is one place that copy and paste does work. And hit Control C, go back here, and hit Control V. There's the code. Again, I can't copy any of this. I want to make sure I don't fat finger any of these inputs and outputs. So I'm going to go back to the code, and I'm going to go status input, copy that, Control C, go to the block editor, Control V, back to the program, command input, Control C, back here, Control V, back to the program, status delay, Control C, back to the program. Now this is going to be another input, so I'm going to switch this to an input, and then I'm going to add a new port. This will be for the output. Switch that to output. Okay, and then I'll go back to the program, and I want to Control C that, and I'll put it into here. Somehow I added one here, so I'm going to get rid of that. So there's all of our inputs and outputs. I'm going to save that macro, close it. I'm not sure why it made a whole bunch of them, but let's just delete that. We're going to bring it back out again. So there is our macro block. So notice how we've got the status inputs. This is why it's important to make those objects real descriptive. So status input, command input, and status delay. So let's go to the objects, and in here I've got a couple of pumps. So I'm going to type in PMP, and so I got pump 1. Let's do pump 1 first. There's the status, and the pump 1 enable, which we're turning it on. So we're going to attach those to this, and then we're going to put in a delay of 15 seconds. And then I'm going to go find it. So now I gotta go searching. So, oops, there it is right there. So I'm going to attach this to the program, compile the program, run. Okay, so let's go see what that program looks like. Here's the actual program. And long and short of it, all the logic or macro block does is do a very sophisticated find and replace. So it's gone through and looked for all of those objects and did a find and replace them with our real objects. See how it's put pump status on, pump status enable, and pump alarm. So